Daquan, Fat P, and Dre hid in the yard of a house directly across the street from the store. There were no lights on in the house, which made their concealment even better. Fat P looked at his watch and it read 9:49 p.m. 1 minute, Fat P reported in a low voice. Daquan was sweating from the anticipation. "Fuck it," he said, and pulled down the ski mask. His two partners followed suit and they made their move. They dipped across the street as quick as possible, looking in every direction. Daquan rushed into the empty store first and pulled his gun out on it immediately. "Put your fucking hands up." The store owner thought about going for his gun he had under the counter, but Dre jumped over the counter too fast, freezing the owner in his tracks. Dre pushed the owner onto the rack in the back wall, spilling candy all over the floor. The owner caught his balance and put his hands in the air. Dre hit a few buttons on the register and it chimed as the money tray slid out. Dre opened the black book bag he was carrying and emptied the entire money tray into it. Dre looked under the counter and saw 3 Philly blunt boxes stacked in between a few cartons of cigarettes. He grabbed them and found one filled with money. The second had Philly blunts in it and the last one had a 38 special in it. He dumped all 3 boxes into his bag as fast as he could, just as Fat P said 1 minute. Dre turned to the owner and shook him down. He took the owner's wallet and searched his socks. "Nothing else?" he asked him. The store owner looked at Dre like he was crazy. "Come on, guys, you got everything. Now please leave." "Shut the fuck up," Dre snapped. And then he turned to the telephone and kicked the whole connection box off the wall. Dre jumped over the counter and Daquan stepped up close to the counter. "Lie down on the floor and count to 50. The owner sucked his teeth and laid down on the floor. The 3 robbers was out the door by the time he counted to 2. They cut corners and ran until Fat P almost passed out. By the time they realized they were 2 blocks away from the projects, the running turned into walking until they reached Dre's building onto the elevator. When they got off the elevator, they heard music coming from Dre's apartment. Before Dre could put the key in the door, he said, "Just go straight into my room." Dre opened the door and they tried to avoid the living room action of Dre's mother doing a drunken 2-step with a guy the boys knew from Marcy Avenue. Daquan took the book bag from Dre and made a beeline to Dre's bedroom. Fat P followed Daquan halfway down the hallway until Dre's mother's voice made him stop in his tracks. "What you got for me, Dre?" his mother asked with a slur. Dre was used to walking in on scenes like this, but now they were getting tiring and it didn't put any food in Dre's stomach. His mother always used questions like these as a form of checking up on her son in front of her company. And once they left, things would go back to her ignoring him and his sister while she nursed a bottle of gin. Dre said, "Ma, I don't have nothing. I'm starving. Did you make something to eat?" "Shit, boy. You old enough. Go make your own food," she replied. Then she turned her back on him and went back to entertaining her date. Dre shook his head and then walked down the hallway to his room. Daquan stood on the side of Dre's bed, still holding the book bag as if he was ready to run back out of the room. "What did she say?" Daquan whispered like anyone could hear him over the loud music. "Never mind her. Let's count this paper," Dre said, trying to forget what was going on in his living room. Fat P moved the dresser onto the door and Daquan quickly dumped the bag of contents out on the bed. Daquan sat down on one side of the bed while Dre sat down on the other. Fat P pulled up a chair and they formed a triangle around their booty on the bed. Dre grabbed the gun and Daquan snapped at him. "Man, empty that shit." "I know, be cool." "Fuck that, let's count this," Fat P said with a big Kool-Aid smile on his face. Daquan and Fat P separated the bills from the change and Phillies while Dre continued to play with the store-owner gun. "Dre, you got a good hiding spot in here?" Daquan asked. Dre looked up and looked around his room and then it hit him. "Yeah, check this out." Dre went over to the radiator that was underneath the window and he began to remove the door off the radiator. Inside the radiator was a small space at the bottom of it. Then Dre went over to his closet and pulled out an old Nike box and brought it over to the bed. When they finished counting the money, Fat P said $653.22. "Yeah, that's what I'm talking about." Not bad for 10 minutes worth of work, Daquan boasted proudly. Hell yeah, and we got a new gap for the stash, Dre added. Daquan split the money 3 ways and said, I'm only taking $50 of mine. I want you to put the rest in your window spot, Dre. I'll stash my dough in my own crib, Fat P said. We know, just don't go crazy at Burger King. Dre sparkled with a chuckle around the room. So what y'all want to do now? Daquan asked. Let's go to that party over on Flushing, Fat P answered, feeling hype about how the rest of his night was supposed to go. Dre's eyes lit up. Word, I'm with that. Let me change real quick. Fat P stood up and said, I'm going to run downstairs and change too. Once Dre finished getting dressed, they went downstairs and collected Fat P, who lived in the same building as Dre. Then they went over to Daquan's house so he could do the same. It was almost 11 o'clock when they walked into the house. Mama K was sitting on the couch on the telephone and said into the receiver, oh, here he is. Here, say something to Pop before they lock him in for the night. Daquan ran over to the phone. What's up, Pop? I've been looking for you all day. I'm going to call you back in the morning, all right? Pop said more than as a statement than a question. Okay, Pop. Pop said, I love you and tell Mama and them I'll call back in the AM. Okay, we love you too, Pop. Daquan said and then hung up. Mama K stood back and analyzed the 3 amigos. And where y'all think y'all going? We going to this party over on Flushing Ave for a little while, Mama K, Daquan answered. Yeah, Mama K, just for a little while, Dre said quickly, backing up his friend. She looked from Daquan to Dre, then she looked over to Fat P, and he added his piece of the argument. We'll be back by 1. That's not too late for a Saturday, Mama K. Boy, you don't have to tell me what day it is. She snapped and looked from face to face again and said, yeah, well, you boys be back in these projects by 1. I'm only saying okay because it's a Saturday. Thank you, Mama K, Daquan said with a big smile. He kissed her on the cheek and ran down to the room to change. Dre and Fat P followed suit by kissing Mama K on the cheek and headed down to Daquan's room before she changed her mind. Alright, so that was them introducing themselves to a game that they really didn't know about, but they tried it, and to them it worked on that night. So, I don't want to tell you after that or whatever, but they go through a lot with that, doing what they're doing, because they start really elevating in it, and they start really making some money doing it. So with money, more money comes more problems.
Amen.
Mama K say something?
Mama K, she got her own money going on, but you know, things happen.
You never know.
Things happen.
Well, I definitely can't wait to read that.
I want to give y'all one more. I want to give you a piece from part 2, because as you're gonna see, when you read part 1, you're gonna want to read part 2, because it's like, yo, I stopped it and it was like, what happened? Like, I got so many arguments, like, where is this one and what happened and all that. So you're gonna go right into it. But I'm gonna fly through this real quick. I don't remember which one this was, but oh yeah, not really knowing her baby was really, not knowing where her baby was really took a toll on Melissa mentally. And at some point she felt herself feeling like she needed to use her police training to find her own baby. She just did not know where to start. ADA Dolan coming to her made Melissa break down. But when she left her house, she started brainstorming about Daquan and the whole situation with the case. 2 things bothered her about it all. Investigators haven't been able to find Andre Jones, and her baby was missing, and Daquan hadn't made any noise her way about it. Melissa didn't care about putting Daquan away for the rest of his life. All she cared about is getting her baby back, and the DA's office wasn't talking about that, so she didn't want to talk anymore. Melissa knew she was up against the 8 ball going to her colleagues for information, but she had to do something. They blamed her for the Daquan murder case because she brought him to the apartment and he returned with his friends to rob their undercover operation. A A lot of days Melissa blamed herself for her partner's death, but that was no excuse for the force to turn their backs on her. Her baby is an innocent bystander in all of this, and the least they could have done is help her find her baby. Melissa had always been a good detective. She just didn't use her skills because she hadn't been thinking straight for months. Now it was time to change. The first person Melissa went to see is the lead investigator in her baby's disappearance case to get copies on everything he had. His detective was reluctant to give her the files, but Melissa came to his office determined to get what she wanted. And he was cold on the case anyway, so why not let her give it a try? Melissa took the files home, pulled out the files, and she had on Daquan's case and looked over everything until her body forced her to get something to eat. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do it.
Spoiler alert.
It's going down.
Yeah, don't go down.
No.
Alright, I give you this right here. Because I'm going to skip this part right here. This right here. You have to figure it out with that. Melissa's Washington Heights neighborhood was full of Spanish and Dominican culture, making her a cocoa complexion, long wavy black hair, and an easy fit. And when she moved in and became an undercover cop. Once the incident happened with Daquan, she was advised by the department to move. But Melissa was comfortable at that point, and she was pregnant, making her want to have the first baby, making her want to have the baby first, then think about moving. Walking through the neighborhood, snacking on a slice of pizza, Melissa began to get the feeling that it might be time to move and let everything go. She didn't want to feel like she was quitting, but there was nothing around here to look forward to anymore. Walking down Amsterdam Avenue, she found herself looking at a red Lexus GS 300 double parked in front of the store on the corner of 138th Street. New York City is full of Lexuses, but there was something familiar about that red Lex that made Melissa stop and watch as the driver came out the store shaking the juice. He looked at Melissa as he opened the juice, took a swig, then opened the car door. When he opened the door, the light came on in the car. Melissa could see the passenger's face. Her heart almost stopped. That can't be. The driver slammed the door, shifted the car in gear, and pulled off. It seemed like all in one motion without giving her much time to think. Melissa watched as the car pulled off quickly, pulled out a pen, and wrote the license plate number down on her hand. I don't want to say plate, but South Carolina. Melissa speed walked back to her apartment to write down the license plate number on some paper and get her job of tracking down the two people she saw in that Lexus. If her eyes didn't deceive her, Melissa just saw Andre Jones riding in the passenger seat of that Lexus. The South Carolina plate on the back was throwing her off, but if she had to bet on it, that car looked familiar to her because she used to ride in it when Daquan owned that Lexus. Alright, so you know Daquan owned the Lexus. That's it.
Well, thank you, Ev. All right.